biggest gear on the bike. But it's Kane Richards who's showing the first piece of fatigue in this Sun Tour stage. From Colac to Warrnambool, Honda Civic Stage 1 of this, the Jayco Herald Sun Tour 2018 edition. Well, I'm not envious of this at all. This would be a very painful day for these riders out in front, and it's not for the faint-hearted at all. There's cross tailwind, as we can see. It's coming across the right-hand side of the riders they go. There's the 20 kilometre to go. Honda Civic there on the bend. They'll make sure that all the riders come through safely. Well, 20 kilometres to go. That's going to take them less than half an hour in these conditions. We're going to really see an action-packed last. As we see these cars getting past now, that's not a good sign for this breakaway. There still is cars behind them, so the breakaway has more than a minute's advantage, but it can't be much more. As Ed Clancy, he still cannot make his way back at this point. He is in the second part of the group. That's not good for Ed Clancy. He's only 15 seconds behind, and the last group on the road 30 seconds behind the peloton. Well, the breakaway, they've worked really well. They're extending their lead at this moment. The breakaway at 2.5 minutes. They're going out, actually. This is an incredible effort by these 6 riders. Well, 5 riders now and a passenger, because Kane Richards, he can no longer contribute. Well, maybe he's thinking, I'm the fastest rider here. If we can survive, I need the legs to be able to survive, though. And well, the big rider from McDonald's down under, he could pack a fast sprint. Don't know a lot about about Kane Richards, but one thing's for sure, he's put himself on the map today. Well, that's what you do. As these cars continue to go up and give updates to the breakaway, this is integral information for these breakaway riders, as their team cars may not be following the breakaway. Obviously, these are one rider out of the 7-man team, and their team car will have to go back and service the other 6 riders during the event. So they'll go back and give the riders water, gels, bars, maybe rice cakes, food like that can keep their energy levels high. They can't just think about today's stage. They've got to also think about Sunday. You know, if they're in contention for the general classification, but their legs fall off on Sunday because they haven't looked after themselves during the week, well, it's no use. So we continue to see Matt Ross. He's incredibly motivated to drive this breakaway, and he has been putting down the hammer for the last 20k. You can really see at about the 40 kilometre to go mark, he really upped his work rate. Kane Richards, he's paying the price on the back, but the rest of this group is continuing to work well, and it actually doesn't look like they're saying much to Kane Richards, so maybe he's been pretty honest all day. We haven't had live pictures until this last hour and a quarter of racing, but it is an absolute pleasure to bring you live stream of this, the 2018 Jayco Herald Sun Tour. Stage 1, the Honda Civic Stage 1, Colac to Warrnambool. Already we've seen the King of the Mountains jersey here for today. That's decided. So the Iceway Sports King of the Mountains jersey will be worn by Brad Evans from Mobius Bridge Lane. Still waiting for confirmation about who will lead the sprint classification. Waiting to see if they know about whether we know the leader of that. Do we know the leader of the sprint classification? Still waiting for confirmation. They're coming through now. This is where the cheese factory is. This is where a lot of bike races have been started in the past. So nearly 15 kilometres to go. Chase group of 30 riders at 38 seconds. So that time gap before with them going out was wrong. 38 seconds back to the peloton. That's why those cars came out. They came up and gave the last drink. We've got Brad Evans. He's calling for a drink. He's going to have to get that off one of the spare motorbikes probably, because there will not be cars let in that gap now. 38 seconds. There's 30 riders in that group. And after that, there's a small group containing the yellow jersey, the winner from last night's prologue. 50 kilometres an hour. Well, he's going to need to do 55 right now, because they are storming to the finish here in Mary Street, Warrnambool. And it won't be long. We're going to see these riders, because they're inside 15 kilometres to go. They've got to be there. They turn left. This will be straight tailwind now, so there will really be a benefit for this breakaway. 38 seconds was the time gap back to the peloton. And then behind that, another 25 seconds is Ed Clancy. Well, he only won the time trial last night by 0.6 of a second. So unless he can make contact back with the peloton, he won't be wearing that yellow fleece tomorrow. And also, it's important to remember that there's also time bonuses on offer for the sprint stages. There'll be 10 seconds on offer for the win, 6 seconds on offer for second place, and 4 seconds on offer for third place. Those sprint time bonuses may seem small in stature, but if you're a decent climber that can pick up 4 seconds in one of these flatter stages, stage 1, 2 or 4, you're really going to appreciate that at the end of the tour, because a lot of the time in these Jayco Herald Sun Tours, when you're in the top 10, 11th and 12th and 13th, 14th place, sometimes they're only 2 seconds behind. So if you can pick up a little time bonus, that can elevate you into the top 10. You're picking up UCI points, and particularly for the domestic riders, it puts them on the radar of the bigger teams over in Europe. Well, it's 14 and a half. There's a 15 kilometre now. 15 kilometres to go for the breakaway. It is Liam McGuinness. He's been impressive today. I must admit, I'm very happy to see that. Saw him drop away a little bit towards the end of last year, and he's got so much talent. It's great to see him back racing hard and motivated, particularly here over the summer. That'll stand well for him going forward. It looks like Kane Richards, he's starting to help out too, because these riders, as the camera goes forward, we're going to see the peloton roaring down on this group. 14.5 kilometres to go. The peloton within 200 metres, just 30 riders remaining in that. So really, all up, we've got 36 riders in contention to win this first stage of the Jayco Herald Sun Tour 2018. And well, who will it be? Well, I'm not even going to throw out an answer there, because it's hard to know of what riders consist in that breakaway. What we do know is Mitchelton Scott, Trek Segafredo, and also the Israel Cycling Academy. They've been incredibly motivated to ride the front of this race, particularly in the crosswinds. That's going to mean that they've definitely got major representation in this race. Well, we're going to get some more pictures as this peloton comes on. It's going to be very close. So driving the front, it is Israel Academy. It's Zach Dempster that's on the front. You can see the three orange jerseys there from the Rompot Lottery team. They're there as well. So, well, we've got a real race on here. And if that's 30 riders, it's only just because it looks a lot smaller group than I think that they've told us. I reckon about 25 riders. So 31 riders, 30-odd riders are in contention for this stage, and particularly for this tour. This Herald Sun Tour is being decided on day one, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're enjoying this coverage, make sure you give us a thumbs up or comment below, because it's that kind of reinforcement that will make us continue these streams. Well, you see these team cars now. There's not many teams that are represented in this breakaway. I did see Trek Segafredo rider Kunda Court. He's going to have a good chance. Also a rider that might be up there is Tim Erison from the Rompot Netherlands Lottery team. As we see a rider getting dropped here, I think this might be the breakaway rider of... it is, in fact, Liam McGuinness from the breakaway. The force of the peloton. Oh, he's trying everything. Keep it going, Liam. We want to see you back in there. I'm sure Mum and Dad are on the line watching. Well, this group's going all the way. They've basically got a tailwind all the way to the finish. They will soon, though, hit the strong ascent that I was talking about earlier in the broadcast. It is very, very steep. And particularly if you're tired, which every single one of these athletes would be, it's going to hurt the legs. Trying to grab some more numbers there. Well, Brisbane Academy, they've got a few riders there, in fact. So the Brisbane Continental team has Michael Vink, who performed well there last night. Also there, Ryan Thomas, he's a fast rider. Kunda Court on the outside in the red colours for Trek Segafredo, he's there. We can see at the back now, Brad Evans. He doesn't want to sit there, Brad Evans. He has to move back up the front of the peloton, because when they turn again in a moment, they're going to go back into the crosswind. Arison is there, that we spoke about. Tim Arison from the lottery team from Rompot. Number 3, that looks like it is, in fact, Michael Hepburn. He will have really driven the pace, but if he's there, I think you'll find Esteban Chavez is there as well. He's just up a little bit further on the left-hand side. And, well, right at the front, it's difficult to tell the other riders that are present. Benelong, Swiss Wellness, they look like they've got 3, maybe 4 riders there as well. And, well, it also looks like potentially the Young Riders jersey has made it into this move. Well, that'll be a big one for Matthew Gibson. We'll get confirmation in a moment. We can also see Larry Warbass. He's the USA national champion. He's there as well. Looks like Damien Housen on the front. He's doing a truckload of work, but that's not good for Michael Hepburn, who's last wheel. Cameron Bailey looks like he's there. Also there looks like it is also from the Benelong Swiss Wellness. It looked like Chris Harper And that's definitely Sam Crome in the middle. So we've got some information there. So we've got Harrison is present. We know Zach Dempster's there. That probably tells me that Nathan Earl is present also. We also know those breakaway riders are all in that group. So 27 riders consist in this breakaway now. This front group it is. Kundacourt there for Trek Segafredo. We know that Michael Hepburn's there. Esteban Chavez is present, and also Damien Howson, but waiting for confirmation on that because the pictures are a little distant, but they only have around about 8 kilometres until the finish. This is where they continue in crosswind, and you can see them going to the right-hand side of the road. Not good for Esteban, who's at the back at the moment, but this is incredible. This could be the foundations for a big victory here for Mitchelton Scott, because they've got enough riders here, not only for teams classification as well, but if Esteban Chavez is here, he may be the only serious climber that survived. I'm assuming that Nathan Earl is there, and I'm also assuming that that I did see also, should I say, Cameron Bailey there, who can climb, and Chris Harper from the Benelong Swiss Wellness outfit. Brad Evans right at the rear, Oliver Martin there as well. 77. It is Steele Von Hoff. Well, Steele Von Hoff's there, ladies and gentlemen, and he looks like he's primed. 6th in the Cadell Evans road race. He also finished a strong performance at the Race Melbourne. He was 3rd at Race Melbourne, 6th at the final stage of the Tour Down Under as well. Steele Von Hoff, he'd have to be a good chance here. Big, strong finish. It's slightly uphill here at Mary Street, Warrnambool. Block tailwind though. Zach Dempster, he's got to be a chance too. A good opportunity. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities this year, but he finished 8th in stage 4 of the Tour Down Under as well. They both rode for the national team there, the UniSA outfit. Number 4 is definitely Esteban Chavez. Number 31 is definitely the rider of Tim Harrison. 145 is Matt Ross from the breakaway. It'd be interesting. I did see one more national team outfit in there, but I can't see the number. Well, Esteban Chavez needs to move up. 54, is that the rider? Thomas Stewart, we spoke to him this morning at the depot. He looks like he's only rider there for JLT Condor. So it looks like Ian Bibby might have missed this split. As Matthew Hepburn comes back to find Esteban Chavez. That's what the great teammates do. Also there definitely is Damien Howson, trying to keep a close look. Trek Segafredo look like they've landed 2 riders in this group. They've definitely got Mads Pedersen there, the Danish national champion. He's up there on the right-hand side of the group, right down on the inside, just in front of the Brisbane Continental rider. Well, this group is the elite of the elite for this race this year. They are definitely going to decide this race. It was always going to be the one stage that was a worry. Don't worry, tomorrow could do exactly the same thing, and that'll be in the back of the mind of these riders. If I make the finish today, that's not where it starts and finishes. It's still tomorrow. Tomorrow, an important transfer day. Tomorrow, obviously, starting in Warrnambool, finishing in Bunnyong, plenty of activities at the finish line. But this, the Honda Civic Stage 1, well, it hasn't disappointed entertainment-wise. They left this morning at 10:30. They rolled out and the breakaway went straight away. The peloton left them out there like a bunny rabbit to the greyhounds. But then, right near the end, 45 kilometres to go, strong crosswinds inspired the peloton to really make a move. And it was Trek Segafredo, Mitchelton Scott and Israel Cycling Academy that really made the difference. So Esteban Chavez there for Mitchelton Scott, Michael Hepburn there for Mitchelton Scott, and also Damien Howson, I believe, is present as well. We're not sure about Damien Howson, but it looks like 3 riders are definitely there for Mitchelton Scott, so they'll be happy. And this tour will go and see the Mitchelton Winery later in the week, but there's definitely 3 riders there, Mitchelton Scott. There's definitely 2 riders there from Trek Segafredo, 3 from Rompot. There's 3 Benelong Swiss Wellness riders there, including the fast finisher Steele Von Hoff. We know Zach Dempster is present in the group. We know that we've obviously got our breakaway riders that we've had there all day. None of them have been dispatched, so Daniel Whitehouse is there, Brad Evans is there, Liam McGuinness is also present, Oliver Martin, Kane Richards and Matt Ross. So now we see a split off the front. 5 riders have slipped off the front here. This is very dangerous, and this is where it really turns into needing your teammates. So Rompot sitting at the back, that's not where you want to be. Got to move up as Brad Evans searches to move up the peloton. Whitehouse is at the back. We know Larry Warbass is in there for the Aqua Sport team. He is the national USA champion, and it's an absolutely striking jersey. Probably the best looking national kit in the peloton for mine. But the Danish national champion Mads Pedersen, he's up there too now as the counter-attacks come. This is where the splits happen. Steel Von Hoff, he's sitting at the back. That's not where he needs to be. But Bennelong is represented in that split at the front. Maybe it is the rider of Dylan Sunderland. It looks similar to his action. Hard to tell from the pictures that we're getting. Trying to bring you as much information as I possibly can. So if I am not calling out all the riders, I'm doing my absolute best here. But it's brilliant to bring you this stream. Tell your friends and family about it if they would love to enjoy it tomorrow as well. We'll bring the final hour of every stage, at minimum, the final hour of every stage this week for the tour. And obviously the final stage, well, that's going to be on television. Group Comparto, as the Italians say, it's back together. The group is back together. Unfortunately, some of the riders from the breakaway, in particular Oliver Martin, it's not the place you want to sit right at the back. They'll come up here, they'll swing to the left, and they won't have very far to go. They'll have that strong kicker that I spoke about up to the finish, but a roaring tailwind. Roaring tailwinds. Rompot, look at Rompot moving up as a combined unit, those three riders. Not that far to go now. It's got to be close to 5 kilometres to go. I'm waiting for an update. The 5 riders that split off the front have been rejoined by the rest of this breakaway. Kundercourt is confirmed and Mad Pedersen confirmed in that front group. Steel Von Hoff is got to be a great chance for mine. Zach Dempster, I tell you what, this is absolutely the type of finish he would have put on his breakfast plate any day of the week 2 years ago. Can he refine those legs that got him those big contracts, particularly this one at Israel Cycling Academy? I reckon he's a good chance too. And sometimes on Aussie soil, you really produce your best legs as an Aussie. Well, that looks like about 6 or 7 splitting off the front now. I can tell you who's not in that 6 or 7 is Liam McGuinness, who's at the back, and so Oliver Martin, those riders from the early breakaway. You've got to feel from Brad Evans. He's just trying to hang in there. He doesn't mind, though, as much as it's terrible he gets dropped. If he does have the King of the Mountains jersey sewn up. Liam McGuinness is going out the back now, and so is his counterpart in the breakaway, Oliver Martin from Brisbane Continental Team. Now look at Brad Evans. He's struggling. He's trying everything to keep on the wheels. But after you've been out in front for 150 kilometres, the legs just don't agree. Computer says no, and that's what's happened. So 6 riders off the front. I can see the Bennelong colours because of how bright they are up the front. Brad Evans, day over for him. He'll be at the presentation, though, for the King of the Mountains jersey. The Isoway Sports King of the Mountains jersey. Still waiting for confirmation about the Gatorade sprint classification. I've only got the results from the first intermediate sprint. Well, that front group of about 10 riders is motivated, and this second group is certainly not. Trying to catch the numbers here. Being caught out of that is number 71, which is Chris Harper, and number 74, I think it was. That would be no, it's 73, which is Dylan Sunderland. So it was right. Dylan Sunderland and also Chris Harper. That does mean Steel Von Hoff is in that front group of 7, right at the front. And I tell you, I can also say that the big rider from Yala Academy, which is the Israel Cycling Academy, it looks like Zach Dempster's found himself in that front group, waiting for confirmation. And well, we're not far. They're not far from the finish at all. About 4Ks, 5Ks to go. It's really going to come down to the wire. Something special has to be moved. I think that's Nathan Earl. So Nathan Earl definitely present because that's his action. He's just attacked from this second group. And you must think that Esteban Chavez might be involved in that front split. I tell you what, if Esteban Chavez has found himself in that front split, that is a magic move by Mitchelton Scott. And while Michael Hepburn, he's the perfect guy to have by your side. As we see, Liam McGuinness, he's made his way back, but can they make the back of the group? Oliver Martin, they're trying everything, these riders. They've got hearts of gold, trying everything they can, but the pain would be so hard right now for these riders. They'll turn this corner. They'll nearly be able to see where we are at this finish. They can't be far from the finish. It's difficult. We are going to try and bring you the kilometres to go. But now we're going up to the break. We're going up to this front group. It'll be able to tell us who's in there. And then you'll see just ahead. They come up that long straight, and that's the finish. They can see us now. Well, who's in this front group is going to really test it out. We know Steele Von Hoff. I can confirm Steele Von Hoff because he wasn't in that bunch. And who else is there? Right now we're getting closer. Waiting for that bike to make contact with this group. I'll bring you the riders as quickly as I can. I do know Steele Von Hoff. He's there. The JLT Condor rider, Tom Stewart. He looks like he's made it as well. Thomas Stewart, I think we're waiting now. Yellow Academy was there. There's 2 Benelong riders there. Rompot rider, that's Arison that's there as well. They've hit out early down the right-hand side. Von Hoff back at the back. Oh, there's a couple here. So Von Hoff and Sam Crome. Looks like Sam Crome or Cameron Bailey. Difficult to see the numbers at the back. That is the rider of Michael Hepburn. Also, Kundacourt, he is in there. Kundacourt's definitely present in that group. Looking for the other riders. It's difficult to see them. Steele Von Hoff's the rider in the bright lime colours there. Also, looks like a rider from the Brisbane Continental team. And if I'm having a look at my numbers now, that's got to be Ryan Thomas. He's a fast finisher, Ryan Thomas. Kundacourt there. Also there is Steele Von Hoff. We know that. We know that number 7's there, which is the rider of Cameron Meyer. Well, that's a dangerous rider. Cameron Meyer, Mitchelton Scott. So that was the 3rd rider from Mitchelton Scott. We know that the young Esteban Chavez isn't here. So it is Michael Hepburn and it is also Cam Meyer, a previous winner of the tour in the past. In 2016, he took the tour out. And well, now we follow these riders in and they're going to come into the home straight. They've got a roaring tailwind. It's only going to be not that far to go. I'll have a look at my course mocker in just a moment's time. Try and tell you all the information. Well, this split is definitely very decisive in this race. This is going to decide the tour. And another split off the front. And I tell you what, Steele Von Hoff, he's in the second part of the group. So his teammate that's gone off the front is going to try and take this out. He takes a long attack. They've taken that left-hand turn into Ward Street, 1.3 kilometres to go. They'll veer right here. That's a kilometre to go almost. Not that far to go. We're watching. No, this is the left-hand turn now into Ward Street. So 1.3 kilometres to go. 1.3 kilometres to go for the riders. They take this left-hand turn. They'll then go and veer right at the 1 kilometre mark. 300 metres to go. They cross a major intersection. No, we're getting a bit confused here. Try and keeping up with it. That's definitely Ward Street now. I'll try 3 times lucky. We've turned left into Nicholson Street. Now it's left into Ward Street. Oh, looks like a bit of tactics being played here. So the rider there, 70. It's definitely 76. Well, this is really a nail-biting finish. So Cameron Bailey. It is Cameron Bailey. It is Cameron Bailey there. Tom Stewart's there. Michael Hepburn, number 15, which is the from Trek Segafredo, Ruben Guerrero, the Portuguese national champion. He's going to hit out early. And well, this could really play in the hands. Kundacourt, we mentioned him earlier, if he was there, the Dutchie by nationality, but the Aussie by character. They go up this little kicker. They're going to come over the top here. They'll have about 800 metres to go. They can see the finish now. They'll be able to see the finish. They can see it, they can hear the speaker. Dave McKenzie on the front stage. Peels off the front. At the back it is Cam Meyer. He'll be looking for a bit of a move like he did in the Cadell Evans last year. He does. He goes, but then he stops because it's his teammate, Michael Hepburn, that's jammed down the accelerator. They're a bit caught out here. Mitchelton Scott, they've got confusing tactics right at the moment. Right at the back, Cam Bailey. And then in front of him is his teammate of Steele Von Hoff. Tom Stewart, he can sprint. He can also climb. It's going to be a great stage for him too. We'll be watching. I reckon it's going to be between Von Hoff and the rider from Trek Segafredo, and that is Kundacourt. Guerrero is doing the work. He's going to have to pull a big turn here. It's going to be a big win here. Lasse Norman Haas it is. It's Lasse Norman Haas. He's going to get caught. He's going to get caught right on the line. And it looks like Kundacourt very close. No, it's all slapping the bars there. It looks like, I think Kundacourt might have taken this out. Let's wait for confirmation. Housen was there. Lasse Norman Haas, he has won. Lasse Norman Haas has taken out the stage, ladies and gentlemen. I can confirm from Aqua Blue Sport, he has taken out the stage. Lasse Norman Haas.
Wow, what a
waiting for second and third confirmation. I know that Kundacourt did a drive to the line. Guerrero, who helped him in the final in Cadell Evans Road Race, he did the job again. We'll wait to see. Steele Von Hoff there, Cameron Bailey there. Well, the rest of the peloton comes in now. Mads Peterson there, but Damien Housen was present, so it was Damien Housen and Cameron Meyer. We had update from Mitchelton Scott. They didn't know if Damien Housen had made that split. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a brilliant stage. Check out Twitter and the homepage for the results. Going to sign off.